You're with Vita and the Family Eats Kitchen, and today we're going to be doing a 4-layer cookie brownie cheesecake. Tomorrow is my husband's birthday, and that was his wish for his cake, so I thought I would show you all how beautiful it turns out, and it is absolutely luscious. There is quite a few steps. Not going to tell you it's easy. It's going to be a little bit harder than some of the other simple things that I've put out for you in demo, but you can do this. We're going to do it step by step. I'm going to be very clear of everything that you need, and at the end of the video, if you watch till the end, you'll have the email address, and you can request a written recipe and all the grocery lists and a step-by-step guide on how to make this. So we're going to get started, and we're going to do this one thing at a time, and as we put the layers together, you'll see just how wonderful this is as a project to make. So the very first thing in the 4-layer cookie brownie cheesecake you need to do is mix the batter for the brownies. So the first thing is simple brownie mix, chewy fudgy brownie mix box. That's all you need. I'm going to take this and put this in the pan, or in the bowl, sorry. There we go. This is a beautiful gift. This would be a beautiful holiday cheesecake. If you're a fan of the very intense cheesecake restaurants and like that, you will absolutely love this, and you'll marvel at how decadent it can be. Your guests will be very, very surprised at you making this homemade. So I strongly urge you to not be afraid, don't be intimidated, give it a try. So this recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of water on this boxed recipe. Calls for a half a cup of canola oil. And this is different than when we're baking together, or cooking together. Baking is something very different than my cooking as far as measuring. I don't do a lot of measuring. Everything is a dump kind of thing and an eyeball thing. But when you're baking, things have to be absolutely accurate or they just do not turn out. Keep your area cleared because, as I said, there's going to be a lot of steps, and you want to keep all your steps separate. Calls for 2 eggs. Never crack your eggs on your bowl. You will get shells, even the smallest ones in there. Okay. That's all of the ingredients that the brownie mix calls for. This is going to be the very base of your spring form pan layer, okay? So I take a scraper, break up the eggs, maneuver the mix around. Brownies you don't have to whip and go to an extreme. You just want to make sure everything is folded together nicely and mixed. Takes no time at all. You're going to need to preheat your oven to 350 and have that ready. You're going to want to have a cookie sheet or pizza pan with some sides to set your springform pan in to make sure it catches any spills, drips, what have you. I don't use a water bath in any of my cheesecakes. You don't have to. I know a lot of recipes call for it, but there's ways around it, and I've mentioned it before in a few of my others, my other demos. And we'll do a plain New York cheesecake sometime as well, and I'll show you how that's done. Okay, so there is your brownie mix, all complete. You're going to pour that into your springform pan after the next step. So you're just going to take that, set that aside, and your very next step is you're going to take your springform pan, unhook it, unclasp it, This is your springform pan for cheesecake. I did a 9-inch. And you're going to line it this way and this way with sheets of plastic wrap, okay? You're going to take a tube of chocolate chip cookie dough. Simple, you see them around in the grocery all the time. And you want this to be out at room temperature. You don't want this to be solid yet. Okay, we're going to do something with that though and make it solid after we're done. But for now, you want it pliable. And at this point, you can just kind of break it up, put it down in there. Remove any rings. You don't want to get totally engrossed in the cookie dough. And what you're going to do is you're going to just start pressing. And I'll show you what this looks like. I'll show the camera in just a second. You saw what I just put in here. So you're just going to press it down. Use your fingertips to get it all around the springform pan, the shape and exact size of your springform. This is going to be your very top layer. And you may be asking, well, why are we doing the top layer? We just did the bottom layer. Well, the top layer needs to go in the freezer once you've got it all in its shape that it needs to be to go on top. And you just keep working this till it works out to the corners. Now, if you're doing a 9-inch springform pan, you can use just the regular size cookie dough tube. If you're doing a larger springform than that, you're going to need to get the jumbo roll of chocolate chip cookie dough tube. Okay, so that is all in place where it should be. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so now you're going to take your handy wrap and bring all the layers in so that it's covered completely. Because this is going to go in the freezer. So it keeps its shape until you're ready to put it in the very top layer. So this is what it looks like. There's your first 2 steps. I'm going to clear this area, get the next set of ingredients together out here to begin the cheesecake filling. But this is exactly what it looks like. You're going to make it a chocolate chip cookie dough flat pancake type thing. Keep it wrapped, put it in the freezer like this while you're doing your remaining steps, and we'll get back to this one in just a bit. So I'm going to clear everything off. I'm going to show you how to assemble the brownie mix, and we'll get that into the oven, and then we'll start working on the actual cheesecake filling. So we've got the cookie dough freezing in the freezer, the cookie disc, chocolate chip cookie dough, and we've got our brownie batter ready to go in here. Okay, so you're going to spray your springform pan really well, okay? Set it on top of a cookie sheet or something to catch any spills or drips or what have you, and to keep some stability when you're picking it up and taking it out of the oven as well. I foil line it just to be on the safe side as well, so nothing burns. So you're going to take your brownie batter and you're going to pour it in. Your oven is all preheated, I hope, to 350 if you're working with me, along with me, unless you're just watching. Then I guess it doesn't matter. But for me, it definitely matters. So, there's that luscious chocolate fudgy brownie batter. Next, this is an unconventional step that I'm sure you haven't seen. Don't be intimidated, it's okay. You're going to take another oven-safe bowl or metal pan, whichever. It's got to be, I would say, a minimum of at least 3 inches high. I'm doing a oven-safe bowl, and you spray the entire thing with nonstick spray. You're going to center it right onto your brownie batter, and you're going to squish it around and let it get to the bottom there. And what's going to happen is, as this brownie batter bakes, it's going to come up the sides and leave a nice deep well for your cheesecake. So you see what this looks like? That's what it's going to be. It's going to have a nice 1-inch rim all the way around, deep. When this is done, you let it cool for just 5 minutes. When it's still slightly warm, I'll show you. We're going to take the bowl out, let it set for a little bit until it's completely cool while we do our cheesecake mix, our cheese batter. And then we'll take that bowl out and fill it, and we'll go to the next step. So we're going to get this in the oven. It's got to go 35 minutes, or according to your brownie mix box. And in the meanwhile, while that's baking, we're going to get all of our cheesecake filling ready. Okay, so I'll be right back. That says my oven is ready for the brownies. Next step on our beautiful 4-layer cookie brownie cheesecake. Now, you don't need to have a stand-up mixer. It's very helpful because of the heavy-duty power that it lends and the air that it puts into the cheesecake filling, but you can easily do this with a hand mixer as well. You don't need to go out and buy a big stand-up mixer, unless of course you want one and you want to use this as the excuse. It's a good excuse. Go ahead. I'm saying it's okay. Alright, so we're going to proceed with the cheesecake filling, and we're going to use 4 room temperature, very, very important, room temperature packages of cream cheese. You could also substitute for the fat-free brand, the fat-free type. Doesn't have to be full fat. That lends a little bit different of a flavor, not quite as rich and solid, but if you're trying to behave a little more, then you're more than happy to, I'm more than happy to say yes, go ahead and do that. So there is our room temperature 4 blocks of cream cheese. And we're going to bring this down, make sure you're locked in, and start very slowly. Just to loosen it up, break it up, get a little air in there. Always keep a good spatula on hand, a good sturdy one, and push it down off the sides as you're adding your ingredients here. And stay on low. Mine is on 1 right now, just to kind of break it up, mix it up a little. To that, you're going to add next, I would take the 3/4 of a cup of sugar and bring that in very slowly till it's incorporated. You can gradually turn it up just a little. You don't want to fly things into this bowl really fast. A little different than a hand mixer. Things will go flying across your room, and you won't know what your measurement is that you've got in there. And we're going to stop it again and drop it down just a little bit. Ooh, I can smell that brownie layer cooking. Next, we're going to take some vanilla. Now, you can use white vanilla if you prefer. It's not necessary. Vanilla's vanilla. So you're going to want 1 teaspoon, and that's all I have left in here. I measured it out and put it back in. I have 1 teaspoon left. So you're going to pour that in there as well. And incorporate that. Incorporate every step until you're ready to, you have everything in there, and then you can keep it going the whole time. Okay, so then the vanilla's in there. And we're going to loosen down the sides once again. There we go. Okay. Oh, it's really smelling very good in here. All of this loveliness. 1 large egg. Not while your mixer is going. It will come back at you and get all over your clothes. I was pretty excited today. Postman brought me my black chef's jacket I've been waiting on for quite some time. But with the mail going so slow right now, I've been waiting quite a while. So I'm really happy because I really like it. It's very comfortable. So go back again to number 2. Maybe keep it on 1, 1, 2, till the egg is semi-incorporated. And don't try to fight the turns of this whisk and ruin your machine. Don't be afraid to shut it off and push down the sides. You want everything incorporated really evenly. Cheesecake is can be kind of temperamental if it doesn't have all of its ingredients even in there. So take the time. It's very well worth it. The reward is amazing. So now you can speed it up just a bit. I'm up to 3. And then go to 4. And we should be okay at 4. You want to get a lot of air in there, but you don't want it flying out all over your countertop either. So I'm going to let this all mix and incorporate, and I'll show you how creamy it is when we come back. And by then the brownie mix will be out of the oven, and it needs to cool 5 minutes before we do anything with that really cool inner bowl step that we did. We're going to let this go a little bit because the mixer's going to get kind of loud and I'll have to yell over it. So I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Thanks. And here it is, the finished product. Are you ready? The moment of truth. You've sprayed the bowl, so it should come out clean because you let it rest. It came out of the oven after 35 minutes. You let it cool for 5. I actually went 6, 7 because I was a little nervous about this part. So you take the bowl or the pan, whatever you put in there, and just gently rock it a little bit and shift back and forth. This is my first time doing this, so we're both going to witness this together. Oh boy, it did it. It cooked all up and along the sides. It's got a nice deep well for everything else. It's beautiful. Now what we're going to do, the next step, is this beauty has got to go in the refrigerator, and it's got to cool for 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. The metal is going to get cool pretty fast. It's not hot, so it's going to cool pretty quick. So I'm going to put this in the fridge, and when we come back for the next step, I'll show you how to set the chocolate wafer cookies with the white filling. You all know what these are, right? Yeah, well, I bought the thins because we've got so much chocolate and everything working here. I thought maybe the thins would be a little bit smarter. So that's what I did. And I'll show you that step. And after that step, we'll go to the cheese filling. And then after that step, it gets baked. And after, let me back up. After this step, with the cheese filling, you put the raw cookie dough on top. All the layers are in place. She goes in the oven. Boom, boom. Then you've got your 4-layer cookie brownie cheesecake. It's going in the fridge right now. Here we go. I've got all of our little cookie sandwiches, our chocolate wafer sandwiches with the white center. We all know what these are. Easy to find. I bought the thins because we've got so much chocolate going here already. So in the bottom of this springform pan, I've got a layer of these chocolate wafer cookies. Next, we're going to take this beautiful cheesecake filling, clean off your whisk really well. You don't want to waste a single teaspoonful of this perfect loveliness. Okay, mix that up. This is going to go, all your filling, right inside this beautiful brownie well that you've created. Gently push the first bit of this down. You don't want to mess up your chocolate wafer cookies that are on the bottom, because you want those to show when you're slicing. Smells so good. This is the difficult part, is smelling each segment that you have to do to get this where it needs to be, but it is well worth it. It is a beautiful entertainment cake. It is a beautiful birthday cake. See, now I'm just smoothing these edges, getting everything right to the very end. As evenly as you can. Now I have to say, when I chose the bowl to go in the center of the brownie batter, I told you that this is my first time doing this, and this recipe. And so what I should have done, and what I would urge you to do, is to make sure that the pan or bowl, whatever that oven-safe container is, you want to make sure it has straight sides, just like this springform pan. Okay, you don't want something that is got a graduating bottom to it. So I want you to focus on this cake here. Watch what I'm doing. And as you smooth it out, you'll see that if it was straight like this here that I'm pointing to on the springform pan, instead of on an angle, you wouldn't have such a diverse section of cheesecake itself. It would have stayed very straight rather than in a V. It's still going to cut the same. It's still going to taste the same. I'm just saying that would have been best. That's not what we did. So, not life or death. No big deal. So, we've got this in here. We're going to pound it a few times just to get out any last minute air bubbles that we may have had. Don't worry about any crumbs on top, because we still have another layer of the chocolate wafers to go on top. So you want to be sure that your oven has been turned down to 300 while you were waiting and filling this. And this is going to go in a 300-degree oven for 40 minutes. You want the center to be just slightly jiggly still. You don't want it to be completely done. So 30 minutes tops, okay? And then you're going to go into the refrigerator with it. Or if you have room in the freezer, you can even speed it up faster and put it in the freezer for only 20 minutes. So we're going to cool it down. Once it's completely cool, we're going to line the top with the rest of these wafer cookies and put the chocolate chip ring on top of that. Going to go back in the oven for another 25 minutes. That's the last baking stop. And then you're going to let it cool overnight before cutting it. So this is definitely a make ahead, I would say a full day in advance, so that it has time to firm up and refrigerate and be ready to serve. Definitely not a same day thing. Okay, so it's going to go into the oven, and when it's completed, I'll show you the next step, and we'll go from there. The very next step in this beautiful 4-layer cookie brownie cheesecake, and it is beautiful, is the next level of the wafer cookies and the very top step of the frozen chocolate chip cookie dough. And then it's going to go, after this is put together, it's going to go into the oven for another additional 25 minutes on 300. And when that's completed, it'll come out, cool to room temperature, and then it's going to be refrigerated overnight. And then I will come back tomorrow morning and I will slice this for you, and I will let you see just how beautiful this whole layered cheesecake ends up. Alright, so here we are. We're going to take our chocolate wafer cookies and go around the entire circumference. Alright, now this is a completely covered surface. So when it gets cut, these will be one of the layers. There's that step. Your next step is this beautiful cold chocolate chip cookie dough. And unwrap the cellophane. Don't unwrap it before this step is ready. It keeps everything nice and flat. It keeps the cold in. You don't want it to get warm and so that you can't make it pliable for yourself to get it on there all in one piece. So we'll fit it on. Peel the rest off. That wasn't difficult, was it? I know, scary for a second, huh? Everything is fit right into place, right to the edges, and it's going to puff just a little bit as it cooks, of course, because it's cookie dough. Look at this. I wish you could lift it. It weighs quite a few pounds. But this is going to be an absolute showstopper. It's going to go into the oven now for an additional 25 minutes, as I said, for on 300, and for the final bake. Once it comes out, it's going to just come to about room temperature. You don't want to put it in the refrigerator hot. Just not a good idea. You want everything to be on an even cooling temperature. So keep it on the foil pan that's protected everything with crumbs and what have you in your oven, and as you bring it in and out, it gives you a little more stability, especially now with this weight. So you do not take the spring form, don't loosen the spring form until you're ready to plate it. Take the whole pan apart. Like I said, there's no reason to do that. You're going to lose some of your stability. Keep it in the refrigerator just like this. You don't need this pan, but keep it in the refrigerator just like this. Because it does have a cookie dough top, you're not going to have any of the cream cheese filling stick to anything. So you can actually use cellophane again before it goes in the refrigerator to keep anything from hitting it or dropping on top of it. Okay, so it's ready to go in the oven. Don't forget now, don't open the oven. 30 minutes on 300. Here we go. Hi everybody. Our beautiful 4-layer cookie brownie cheesecake has been refrigerated overnight, and it turned out absolutely beautiful. Let's take a look at this gorgeous cheesecake. I want you to be able to get a full view of this. It weighs what feels like 10 pounds. It's got a lot of layers to it. And this was my husband's wish for his birthday cake, and I wish him a happy birthday today. This is for Andy, so I wanted everybody to see how beautiful it looks cut. It was refrigerated overnight. I cooked the last step for 25 minutes on 300. Okay. You want a very sharp knife. You got 4 layers to go through, 2 of which are hard cookie wafer cookies. And this is the moment of truth. We're going to see this together. I haven't seen it yet, obviously. It's not cut open. So we shall see it together. And what I do for garnish is simply, I whipped up some heavy cream with cream of tartar, and a little bit of sugar. Don't need a lot, just a little carton. It's plenty for your dessert serving. So you're going to cut all the way through those layers. Make sure your spatula gets all the way through. And lift out. And there's the beautiful layered cheesecake. I'll let you see the insides here as well. Put a beautiful small dollop on the very top. Take one of your wafer cookies, and there is your delivery of your beautiful cheesecake, your brownie layer, your cookie layer, your cheesecake layer, another layer of thin cookies, and chocolate chip cookie, with just a teeny bit of whipped cream and a cookie on top for a perfect birthday cheesecake. This will go over so big with your guests, or if you are trying to put together a very, very special party, anniversary party, shower. It's just an absolute exquisite, beautiful smelling cheesecake. I hope you've enjoyed our 4-layer chocolate chip brownie cheesecake. Please remember to visit at the end of the video for my email address to request all of the directions, the full grocery list. I know this was a lot of steps, but for a special occasion, this is my go-to now. I absolutely love how this turned out. So, the family eats 5967@gmail.com is the email address for, as I said, the full grocery list and a step-by-step directions of recipe for you. Please don't forget to subscribe. As soon as you subscribe, you won't miss out on any of the videos. You won't have to worry about, did I catch it on Facebook? Did Vita remind me? It'll be there each time for you if you've subscribed. Also, give us a thumbs up on the like button, and by all means, do share. You've been in the kitchen with Vita, and the family eats.